maximize, or would not even come up really. And I discovered that all I need to do is run it as administrator, so I should be able to get to go now. But for now, let's switch over to the gaming tab. Greetings everyone, I am the former Demon Duke AIM. Sorry if my model's just a little bit jittery. This is kind of the first major test run of it, but I am happy to say that I got my live 2D started here, and so there'll be a couple of adjustments that I need to make, but we'll get them over a couple of streams or so. For now, why don't we go ahead and talk about today's game. So if you don't know me, I'm a big fan of Helltaker. If you've ever used my BTTV emotes, I've actually got 2 available that may come in handy this stream. I've got AimPog and I've got Hellpog. I say I've got Hellpog, it doesn't seem like it's going off, but it's in there somewhere. Anyways, if you ever feel compelled, you can use those during the stream. This is a fan game we're going to be playing. It is based off of Helltaker, but it's a dating sim type, rather than anything with like puzzles or anything of that nature. I don't know if there's other gameplay style elements to it, but we will find out together. I tried to look into the content of this game a little bit before I started. However, I couldn't find much. I found that there were like some mildly saucy looking CGs, which is exciting for me, but anyways, nothing that didn't look streamable, so we're gonna go ahead with it anyways. Okay, let's go ahead and get that game rolling, because I am about 10 minutes late, unfortunately. Let's see if it'll start. Oop, I forgot to run as administrator. Hold on one minute. There's a couple of games I've been trying to stream lately that have had that same problem where they won't pop up despite playing sound and despite the window seemingly being there. So maybe this would be a fix for those as well. Alright, there we go. I'll cut the window to fit just a little bit better if you'll give me one moment. Or maybe that's good enough. Let's see. Okay, second circle. Yeah, actually, just completely by coincidence, it seems to fit pretty well there. I'll do just a little bit of reshaping so we get it just right. Give me one moment. I'll let this music play a bit too, because they've got a nice remix of the classic Vitality song that you hear all throughout Helltaker. And it would be a shame not to listen to a little bit of it. If the volume's a little too high, let me know. I'd also be very interested to know who is everybody's favorite Helltaker girls, because I do think you have to make some choices in this game as far as which routes you're going to play. I thought about doing a poll for it, but I pretty much know who I have to pick as my favorite, and therefore I have to start with their route. But if you have any favorites, be sure to let me know, and maybe, depending on how long this takes, we'll get a chance to do some of those too. Alright. Why don't we go ahead and see what we got. They've been updating this game constantly with like new dates and things of that nature. So I'm not sure if it's the total like finished version of the game yet. I think there's some dates that aren't in the game yet. And more to come. But let's see what they do have. Alright, if you're new to these streams, know that I will be narrating. I can only do so much with women's voices, but I'll do what I can. It has been a full month since you escaped from hell, bringing with you a staunch harem of terrible demon women. Pandemonica, the sadistic workaholic with a penchant for coffee. Oh, and one thing I'd like to say about this game too is they did some fantastic work creating like new sprites for every character. New costumes, all kinds of stuff. And not only that, but also CGs further into the game. It's very impressive to look at. And you see they've even got like blinking sprites and everything. Pretty cool stuff. Rodeus, a demon of lust with personal space issues. Hey Rexy, good to see you. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of a return to Helltaker today. It's a game that's very near and dear to my heart, so we're going to try the dating sim Second Circle now and see how that goes. Yeah. We'll see. It is a fan game, but it does have sort of the official sign-off from Lucas Picores, so maybe it'll be good. I'm sure I'm saying that name wrong, but you know, the creator of Helltaker. Hey, Belvoir. Yeah, someone made it was unofficial, but it actually has kind of got the sign-off of the creator, at least in terms of everybody play this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to play the sequel and see how it goes. It's basically a romance-type sim that is focusing on what happens right after the story of Helltaker. Anyways, Cerberus, 3 excitable demons with adorably macabre goals. Melina, a staunch believer in the curative powers of alcohol and strategy games, constantly tormented by her sister, Zadrada, a demon with severe authority problems and daddy issues. Azazel, a self-proclaimed angel from heaven moonlighting amongst the demons to complete a research paper. Nice little custom sprite for Azazel. I like that a lot. Justice, an easygoing demon, just out to live life to the fullest. Back before I really knew what Helltaker was, I saw the pictures like coming up on all those image collection sites, and Justice was kind of the character that made me think, okay, I need to play this game, because if there's like a finger gun shooting, shades wearing lady in there, I probably need to see that. Yes, Justice is indeed blind, as the saying goes, but also literally. Judgment, protege of justice, high-strung warden of hell. And Lucifer, the queen of hell with a soft spot for chocolate pancakes. Speaking of. And just like that, bon appetit. Taker, you really must clean out the refrigerator. Look at it, there are flies everywhere. I'd imagine that Lucifer probably doesn't care for flies, given her history. I'll do it later. You'd better. First one's for you, as per our agreement. I can hardly wait to taste what you've cooked up this time. Gosh, look at these sprites. Someone put in some serious work to this. It's very impressive. The Queen of Hell takes a dainty bite of the neatly rolled up pancake. Incredible. I'll admit, I've never thought of mixing marmalade and chocolate, but it's just so... Glad it's a hit. I'll write down the recipe so we can enjoy it again sometime. I'll handle it. You keep the pancakes coming. Right. Yeah, actually, I see what you're saying there. There's lots of, like, animation and stuff in there, yeah, for sure. Above and beyond. I'm actually working on a visual novel myself right now, but this is a little loftier than I think I'm going to be able to aspire to. Not a Helltaker visual novel, although that would be cool. You know, I'm surprised. Huh, what about? You, us, and us. You know, I kind of assumed you'd be a lot more forward with the whole harem thing. What do you mean? We've all been living under the same roof for over a month now, yet not a single sin orgy has occurred over the course of that time. The other girls are getting impatient, you know. You might want to take time out of your day to try to make yourself a part of theirs. If you're interested in keeping this whole show running, that is. Like a date or something. Or something. And so, though you once conquered hell, it seems the stage is set for an even greater challenge. Domestic dates with demon girls. Hey, if you've done with your internal monologue, you've still got more pancakes to make. Chop chop. Of course. 20 minutes of professional griddling later, you emerge from your kitchen, ready to continue your day. Now, who do I talk to first? Select your character. Alright, let's see who we got. We got Pandemonica, Medeus, Cerberus, Melina, Zedrade, Azazel, Justice, Lucifer, and Judgment. Noteworthy, Beelzebub is not on this, but I know she appears in the game at least a little bit, so maybe you have to unlock her as a secret character. That would be in fitting with the original game. Here's the classic Vitality for you. That's the music that plays all throughout Helltaker. It's a classic bopper. I think I am going to... Well, if anyone wants to guess which character I'm going to pick, I'd be interested to know. I'm not leaving this to a vote, because I have one character that I'm going to pick, and I know that I'm going to pick. But you can always, throw your hat in and say who you would pick. Justice? That's a good guess. Justice is my brother's favorite, but she's not actually mine. She's good, though. I like all of them. Yeah, so my open secret is that I love angels, so we're going to start with Azazel. I love Azazel. I've drawn her a couple of times. It's a surprise pick. I don't think she's unfortunately not the most popular character, but she's my favorite. So that's what we're going with. Late one night, you were dragging yourself to bed after you, Medeus, Pandemonica, and Melina sat down for an impromptu movie marathon. You notice a bright light spilling out into the hallway from the crack underneath Azazel's door. With a groan, you make your way over and knock on her door. From inside, you hear the momentary shuffling of papers before a small voice answers you. Yes. Who is it? There's something about the angel's chipper tone that makes you question your own sanity, let alone hers. Oh, speaking of the Helltaker sequel, it just occurred to me that someone may have been talking about the extra chapter they released. If you haven't played the extra chapter, I definitely recommend it. It's got some very neat puzzles and some interesting plot developments as well, so be sure to check that out. I think it's called Exam Taker, and you can play it if you've got the original Helltaker. Very worthwhile. Azazel, you do realize how late it is, don't you? Oh, gotcha. Well, I haven't made much progress yet. You're okay. All of a sudden, the door swings open, and Azazel stands before you. Though you can tell from the distant look in her eyes that she hasn't slept a wink, the angel seems unfazed by that fact. Oh, hello there, Mr. Taker. Goodness me, is it that late already? I should be getting to bed, shouldn't I? Yes you should. Look at these cute Azazel faces. I'm already being driven crazy. Against your better judgment, you look past Azazel and peer into the messy room behind her. While you wouldn't describe the space as being typically tidy, there is something extra chaotic about the state of it tonight that causes you to worry for the angel's mental state. What are you working on in there anyway? Oh, my thesis. Azazel turns to look at her mess of scattered papers and leaning towers of books with a strange sense of pride in her voice. Your thesis? Indeed. I have this theory that there's a way to classify everything in existence. I see. And how have you arrived at this idea? As soon as the words leave your lips, you immediately regret them. At once, Azazel's eyes begin to shimmer with excitement. Before you can escape, she draws in a deep breath in preparation for what you can only imagine is an incredibly lengthy explanation. Well, you see, I first intended to focus solely on non-living things that are made up of physical matter. But then I realized that doing so would force me to contend with a plethora of questions regarding the quantification of life. And I, personally, am simply not interested in answering such inquiries, so I expanded my research to include living things as well. Oh, you want a camera? Okay, we'll do it. I've actually been hoping somebody would request a hand so I could show you guys how this works. Let's see. Oh shoot, I forgot I was going to switch over to BRB so you don't see me working with working with Live 2D. Give me one moment. Doesn't take but a second. Alright, camera hand. Okay. And here we go. Nice camera hand, and we switch back up. Already. This will be perfect for a date night, right? You've got to take some photographs on a date. Everybody, take some nice photographs of me and Az's. That whole conundrum, of course, got me thinking. Maybe there's an argument to be made that I'm ignoring the fourth dimension entirely. Taking photos of cute demon girls? Yes, that's my goal here. It's, man, what if they made Fatal Frame but with cute demon girls? That would be something. Somebody should do that. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm still getting used to this. I have not done a lot of live 2D streams yet. Okay, thanks. It should be gone now. In that case, shouldn't I try to include things that once existed as well as things that are yet to exist? I suppose. And while I'm at it, I really shouldn't discriminate when it comes to things that exist only within our plane of reality. That is to say, heaven, hell, and the world in between. So needn't I include things from all the realms? Wait, you mean to tell me that there are other... You know what? Never mind. What I'm gathering is this. You aim to find a way to put everything, all living and non-living things that exist in the past, present, and future, from all realms of existence, into a comprehensive classification system. Yep. And that is why you're awake at 3 in the morning. Yep. Feeling the approach of an imminent headache, you begin to massage your temples. That's quite the undertaking, Azazel. Don't you think you'd be better prepared to tackle it if you perhaps got some rest? There's no time for rest, Mr. Taker. If I plan to finish my thesis this millennia, I must spend as much time as I can working. Very well. Then how about this? There's a museum in the city that has a whole slew of exhibits that I'm sure would be perfect for your research. If you promise to go to bed, I'll take you there tomorrow. At the mere mention of the museum, Azazel's eyes become as wide as saucers. Do you really mean it, Mr. Taker? I do. Now, do we have a deal? Too right we do. Good night, Mr. Taker. And with that, Azazel shuts the door in your face, leaving you standing alone in the shadowy hallway, quite stunned, and yet, in a way, satisfied. Yeah, she does kind of have that cadence to her talk. I love it. What a cutie. As you make your way to your own bed, you peek over your shoulder just in time to see the light in the angel's room click off, plunging the corridor into total darkness. True to your word, you are up early the next morning, dressed and ready to take Azazel to the museum. Speaking of which, I should probably do some saving as well. There we go. Before you can so much as knock on the angel's door, it swings open and Azazel is there, notepad in hand, bouncing on her heels with elation. Museum time? Museum time. The both of you load up into the car and set off for the city. Though the museum is a fair distance away, Azazel turns what would otherwise be a long, quiet, and perhaps to some boring drive into one filled with a nauseatingly thorough lecture around every intimate detail of her thesis, and the research that she has done thus far. With each passing moment, you feel as though your very presence in the universe is shrinking. Fortunately, just as Azazel is about to launch into a discussion around quantum physics and the fourth dimension, you arrive at your destination. Yeah, I think we should probably dissuade Azazel from getting too into science. It's just a theory that I have. Just a thought that something bad might come of it. As you shut off the engine, you turn to see your companion brimming with excitement. Before she can leave the car, however, you clear your throat to grab her attention. Hey, Azazel? What is it, Mr. Taker? Listen, I just want you to know that I understand there have been a lot of changes lately. What with you and everyone else moving in all at once, you know? Man, he really is talking kind of dad-like, too. Weird dad vibes going on here. Just a lot to get used to. Sure, I suppose. But I don't understand what... What I'm trying to say is that I'm here for you if you ever need to talk about anything, you know? If something is bothering you, you don't have to, you know, keep it all bottled up. Is this because of how late I was up last night? Well, yes. Oh, I see. The angel sighs and her shoulders sag. It is as if every ounce of her joyous energy has left all at once. You've never seen her look so downtrodden before. You must think I'm weird too. No, I suppose I can't blame you. I mean, not many people get quite as excited about research as I do. It's just that I'm really passionate, you know? I didn't think that was a bad thing. Azazel. If you want the truth, Mr. Taker, I've never felt happier than when I came to live with you. Speaking of which, is it Azazel or Azazel? I just realized I've heard it two different ways. I can pronounce it either way. If it's bugging you hearing me say Azazel, just let me know. Being around you guys, it's like I have a family. People who accept me unconditionally, even if some aspects of me are a little odd. And because of that, I've had the comfort and freedom to pursue the things that meant the most to me. Anyway, thanks for driving me to the museum. You can come and pick me up later. Azazel, wait. I feel as though I owe you an apology. I can see that my assumptions have hurt your feelings, and for that, I'm sorry. I hope you'll believe me when I say that I don't find your curiosity strange or off-putting. I only said what I said because I was worried about you. If you'll permit me, I would like to make amends in any way that I can. We've got a full day to explore this museum, and a lot of research yet to do. So tell me, how can I help? Let's get an Amelia up here. Give me 1 second. That's a pretty easy one. Amelia, here we go. There you are. I'm hoping to make some more types of Amelias soon so that I can kind of give a little bit more variety with that redeem. So look out for that in the near future. Alright. It's funny, his resolution is also a little different than mine. I might have to fix that too. We'll do it in the future. Alrighty. But anyways, let's take Amelia with us on a date. He can be our wingman. I get it. Wingman. Our wingman. You know, I thought I was going to toggle my sweat with that one, but I wasn't. There we go. Wingman. Okay. Let's go back to now. Do you mean that? I do. The angel nods, accepting your apology. Very well. Come, let's see what the museum has in store for us. You get out of the car and follow Azazel up to the museum. Yes, I'm very digging this casual costume for Azazel. It's quite a treat. Inside, you are immediately presented with a directory that covers an entire wall. From the look of things, there is so much in this museum that it will be impossible to get through all of it in one day. Nevertheless, you are determined to cover as much ground as possible with the time that you have. With Azazel leading the way, you spend the next several hours hopping from one exhibit to the next. As you make your way through, the angel fills the notebook after notebook with her findings. As the day approaches its end, you have no less than 2 armfuls of filled notebooks between you. You've never seen someone write so much so quickly. After glancing at the clock, you turn to Azazel. We've got 1 hour left, just enough time to hit one more exhibit. Man, these guys must be looking at things pretty in depth if they're spending like an hour per exhibit. I guess I've never been on a museum date before, so who knows how they work. I've only been to a museum field trip before. So what'll it be? There. Azazel points at an art exhibit of all things, one which, much like the rest of the museum, sees precious little in the way of foot traffic. The sign over the entrance reads, Renaissance. With a shrug, you follow the angel inside. Once there, you're surrounded by white walls, marble floors, and massive, well-lit paintings. As you peruse the art, you cannot help but notice that Azazel is particularly enthralled by one piece in particular. At first, you think nothing of it, but soon you hear her calling over the curator. Calling over the curator. For some reason, I was reading that like it was going to be a loudspeaker system. Pardon me, sir, but I'd like to ask you about this piece here. Why, yes, ma'am. What would you like to know? Are you aware that this piece in particular is a forgery? All of a sudden, the murmur that had once permeated through the gallery is strangled into silence. What few patrons linger nearby gasp at the revelation. You nearly drop the notebooks in your arms as you hurry over to where Azazel and the curator are standing. When you arrive, you notice that the curator is turning a vivacious shade of violet. I implore you to reconsider this accusation, miss. What for? I'm not lying. Why, You're quick to step in between Azazel and the mounting rage of the art curator. The fact that you tower over the man seems to do well to subside his anger for the moment. Please relax, sir. I promise you, she means no harm. The curator sputters. No harm? Did you hear what she said about my gallery? I did. And you honestly mean to tell me that you believe what she is saying? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. That's it! I want the two of you out of this gallery and out of this museum. From now on, you are banned. Do you hear me? Banned! With the stubby little man hot on your heels, you and Azazel book it out of the museum. You know, and now I'm flip-flopping. I think I said Azazel that time, and earlier I was doing Azazel. Whoops. Once you get to your car, you dump the notebooks on the back seat and jump in to start up the engine. Before you drive off, Azazel puts her hand on your forearm. Thank you. You stuck up for me back there, even though it caused you trouble. That means a lot. I hope you know. I promise to always back you up from now on, okay? Now let's get the hell out of here. Okay, that's one chapter of Azazel's Town. I don't know if I can do another chapter of hers yet or not. I might have to do someone else's. But I'll try. Let me check real quick. Nope, I've got to pick one of the other ones. I think somebody else said Justice earlier, so maybe I'll do that. Why not? Let's do Justice next. It's kind of funny. When I heard the idea of a Helltaker dating game, I was sort of thinking it would be like, oh, so you're picking one girl and kind of like getting serious, but it's actually still kind of a harem thing. I guess that's cool. Alright. Early one morning, you find yourself yanked out of a deep sleep by some ruckus coming from the hallway. Groggily, you turn over to peer at your window. Through the gap between the curtains, you see the auburn sunrise lurking just beyond the horizon. Oh, I gotcha. Well, yeah, I still like Justice. This will be a good second route for us. If you have one you want to pick next, just be sure to let me know, and we'll do it that way. The morning has only just begun. Thinking that you'll get some more sleep and wake up at a more reasonable hour, you close your eyes. But as soon as you do, the noise continues with vigor, a loud thumping that echoes through the walls. With a groan, you rise from your bed and slip into the hallway. There, you are able to discern that the sound is coming from Justice's room. Excuse me. You approach her door and knock. Oh, okay, I got you. Alright, have a good one then, and thanks for showing up. Come in. As the door swings open, you look to the demon's bed, only to find it empty. Instead, Justice is on the floor, doing crunches. She pauses as you enter and sniffs at the air. Yo, Taker. Good morning. Morning. How'd you know it was me? Oh, that? Easy. Unlike the others, you don't reek of brimstone. You can tell us apart by smell. Most of the time. At this revelation, you stop to ponder the implications, only to find yourself distracted by the fact that Justice has resumed her workout. Not even this measly conversation can slow her down. Even as she speaks, she is hammering out rep after rep, counting each under her breath. Anyway, 9, 10, how's it going? You're 11, 12, 13, up earlier than usual. Yeah, about that. All of a sudden, the demon, finished with her crunches, jumps to her feet and begins to stretch in preparation for the next exercise. I must have woken you. Sorry about that. I was hoping to get my sets in just before breakfast. Justice, breakfast won't be ready for another couple of hours. Oh, really? Huh, it looks like I misjudged the time. Ah well, might as well get it done now since I'm up. Alright, but could you at least try to keep it down a little? Most of us are trying to get more than a couple of hours of sleep. I'll do my best, Chief, but I make no promises. I'm all finished with my warm-up. Now I'm just going to be moving on to the difficult stuff. The difficult stuff? Yeah, elevated push-ups, sideways planks, chin-ups, burpees, that sort of thing, you know? Burpees? Are you out of your mind? We're on the second floor. Do you have any idea how much noise that's gonna make? You could wake up Cerberus doing that. Once she's up, it'll be impossible for the rest of us to get any sleep. Do you know how much energy she has in the morning? Ah, yeah, that's a fair point. But what else am I supposed to do? Have you considered actually going to the gym? A gym could be fun. Do you know any good ones? This is reminding me of, I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but there's those special comics by Lucas Picores that came out after the game did. And in one of them, Justice and Azazel go to a gym because they think that all sorts of erotic situations happen there because of what they've seen on TV. Well, Oh, come on. You must know the best places, right? What do you mean to tell me that you were just born with arms the size of tree trunks, And before you ask me how I know, Modeus told me. In a desperate attempt to ignore the rising warmth in your cheeks, you cast your mind back to a time in which you did frequent the gym. It's been some time since your last visit, but you figure that now is as good a time as any to go back. Alright, you're gonna want a towel, some clothes you don't mind sweating in, and a water bottle. Ah, hell yeah, we're going now? We are. Unless, that is, you'd rather wait. No way, man, I'm in. Then, without further ado, Justice ushers you out of her room so that she can gather her things and change. You take the opportunity to slip across the hall and into your own room, where you find yourself longingly looking at your bed. Rather than give in to your desire to sleep, however, you dig your old workout equipment out of your closet and throw on a t-shirt and a set of gym shorts. As you head towards the door, you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and wonder just what it is you've gotten yourself into. After getting ready to hit the gym, you step out into the hallway and are met with the sight of Justice walking toward you. Practically bouncing on her heels with excitement, she grabs your arm as soon as you're within reach so that you can lead the way down the stairs and to the car. Bathed in the glow of the early morning sun, You and Justice load up in the car and make your way into town. A short while later, you arrive at the gym. The large sign over the door reads, Mount Olympus. Not only is this your favorite gym, but it also just happens to be the closest one to your house. Through the tall glass walls, you can see that the morning crowd is in the middle of their workout, so you and Justice get out of the car and head inside. Sorry, just a quick break for water. When I'm doing these streams that have a lot of reading, I go through a very tall glass of water. You might not think it looking at me, but I do enjoy a little bit of midstream water. With the demoness gripping onto your forearm for guidance, you approach the desk and retrieve a couple of membership forms. You fill out a renewal for yourself before assisting an overzealous Justice with her own. Then the two of you hit your respective locker rooms to drop off your bags. You reconvene at the squat rack. Are you certain you want to start here? Without a doubt. I'm thinking 7 sets, 13 reps each at, let's say, 133 pounds. I feel like we're entering a golden age of muscular women in games and media. People are finally catching on. Isn't that pleasant? Pardon? Yeah, I know it's a little on the low side, but I'm feeling a little stiff and out of practice, so I thought a warm-up like that would be a good place to start. What do you say? I say, give me a minute to load up the weight, and I'll spot you. And with that, you set up to work loading the bar. Though you've never seen a gym that has weights in increments of 3, you find yourself too focused on hauling them over the bar to really think too much on that matter. After everything is all set up, you help Justice into position. Her first couple of reps look a bit uneasy, so you carefully spot her progress. After the first few, however, the demoness begins to find her rhythm. Soon she's hammering out squats with impeccable form before your very eyes. Speaking of which, I'm going to take a quick second to put down the screen. Oops, sorry. There's usually a way to... I don't know. Not sure if this game has it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I just wanted to appreciate the full picture. Damn well let this opportunity get away from me. Okay, let's get back to it. Justice finishes her first set without so much as breaking a sweat. How's it looking so far? Everything looks good from up here. I'm in my reps. As she bends down to pick up the bar again, Justice looks over his shoulder at you and winks. Fortunately, you are saved the embarrassment of having to stammer out a reply by the fact that the demon has returned her attention to the workout. I like it. Justice knocks out her remaining 6 sets with ease. As she is dabbing at the sweat, which has begun to glaze her arms and forehead, she turns to you. Alright, your turn. What are you feeling? I think I'll keep the weight, but I'm going to tone the sets and reps down a notch to 3 sets, 7 reps. Sounds good to me, man. You do what makes you comfortable. At this, you trade places at the squat rack. Justice places her hands on your hips to get into position to spot you. Then, with a brief thumbs up in your direction, you begin your first set. Admittedly, your progress isn't nearly as effortless as Justice's was. But you remind yourself that not only has it been a while, but you're also not a literal demon from hell, and so you persevere. You manage your first set fairly well and finish up your second in much the same way. On the third, however, you feel your legs begin to shake as though they're ready to give up. Feeling you begin to waver, Justice squeezes your hips. Come on, man, you can do this. You've only got 4 more reps to go. With Justice egging you on, you power through the last of your squats. As you return the bar to its rightful place, Justice meets you with a triumphant high five. You killed it, man. Through your panting, you can't manage to reply. Now, what's next? Oh boy. You set your sights on the next machine, and the rest of your time at the gym passes by in much the same way as it did in the squat rack. At each station, Justice breezes through her sets before helping you through your own. By the time you're on your last few machines, the demoness is practically glowing, while you feel like just a step above a puddle on the floor. In spite of this exhaustion, however, adrenaline is pumping through your body, and you feel better than you have in a long time. You find that you can't remember why you even stopped exercising in the first place. Sadly, your elation proves to be your downfall. In your zeal, you overdo it with the weight of the pull-down machine and end up going a bit too far. It is only when pain shoots through the muscles of your back and shoulders that you realize what you've done. Ah! Whoa! That didn't sound good. Are you alright? Justice helps you detangle from the machine and prompts you to take a seat on a nearby bench. I'm good. I just, overdid it a bit. Huh, may I? Go right ahead. The demon feels around for the muscles of your back and winces when she comes upon the point of pain. Ooh, yeah, you really did a number on yourself there, Chief. Why don't we take it easy for a sec? Have a bit of a breather. As you sit, Justice works on massaging out a little bit of the ache from your shoulders. Embarrassed by your mistake, a hot wash of shame warms your cheeks. Hey, it's alright to be excited, you know? But I don't want you hurting yourself. It's important to know your limits. That way, you can avoid this sort of thing, but also know where you can safely push those boundaries to steadily get better, yeah? Yeah. Setbacks are normal. And think of it this way. Now we've got a good idea of our limits for the future. I really hope you don't get discouraged from this, Taker, because I had a blast coming with you here today, and I'd love it if it's something we can do in the future. Thanks, Justice. I had a lot of fun too, and I promise I won't let this stop me. We can make this a regular thing. How's that sound? Do you mean it? Absolutely. You feel the demon lean her cheek against your shoulder. Good, I like that. Alright, let's hit the showers. I'm beat. Sounds good. You both hit your respective showers to clean up and meet by the front desk. On your way out the door, Justice loops her arm around yours and holds you close as you walk towards the car. Though sore, and more exhausted than you've been in a long time, you find yourself looking forward to your next trip to the gym. I feel a little exhausted just reading about a gym myself. Alright, let's see who's next. Well, my personal second favorite girl is probably Melina. So we'll do Melina next. Why not? We've already done 2 and it's only been 45 minutes. I'll probably go for at least 3 hours today. So we'll get a lot done. Maybe we'll even get through all the girls one day at least. You pull down the trap door that leads to the attic, and are almost immediately assailed by the sharp scent of strong liquor. So much alcohol has evaporated into the air of the attic that breathing it in makes your head spin. Bottles lie strewn across the otherwise well-cleaned room, with the exception being the wooden desk in the far corner of the room, squatting upon which is a large black computer. Slouching on an old leather couch at an angle incompatible with long-term back health, Melina scowls peevishly at you from heavily lidded eyes. Taker, it's a bit early for a visit, isn't it? It's 12:30. Did I stutter? If there's daylight, then it's still too early for me to be awake. Shielding her eyes from the faint few streams of natural daylight filtering in through the curtains, Melina groans. Pass me that bottle, would you? The Istvan one. You grab the requested bottle of Uncle Istvan's hermit juice off of a nearby coffee table and walk over to Melina. You sit down next to the demon and hand her the bottle. I'm not really a drinker myself just because I don't like the taste of alcohol, but it's always funny when you hear people get into conversations about them and they all have these like crazy names for proprietary brews. This is definitely in that category. Pulling the cork out with her teeth, she sucks the bottle dry of liquor in 3 deep swigs, tossing it carelessly behind her and into the garbage can. From the clattering of bottle against bottle, you conclude that the bin hasn't been emptied in quite some time. That, or Melina fills it with extreme prejudice. So tell me, why exactly are you disrupting my beauty slump at such a dreadful hour? I have a package for you. That better not be a euphemism for something. I'm not quite wasted enough for that kind of interaction. Nope, FedEx. Judging from the shape, I'm pretty sure it's one of the games you ordered. Eyes suddenly shining, Melina leaps forward and snatches the brown-wrapped package from you. That's a cute expression. I like it. Good expression, Helltaker Dad. Helltaker fan dad, I should say. Speaking of which, at the end of the game, don't let me forget that I should link the game one more time, so that other people can play it if they want to. I've been quite enjoying it so far. It's got like a cutesy vibe compared to the original one. Just kind of like easygoing and romantic even. But yeah, it's not bad. She rips the top of the package off with her teeth and rummages around inside it with her free hand. She extracts a slim case from inside. Oh, hell yeah! It's that copy of Hero Commander 3 that I ordered. I've been waiting all week to play this thing. I hear the AI is almost unbeatable at higher levels. This is how you know Melina is a true gamer. Hold up, you're telling me that there are games out there harder than Vantage Master? Melina flashes a smirk at you that's half patronizing, half pitying. Oh yes, you have no idea. That reminds me, Taker, are we still in for our game session tonight? I'm just dying to take this game out for a spin. Of course. Games with a melancholic alcoholic sounds like fun. Well, that's something to look forward to anyway. One more thing. Could you pick up some Curacao before tonight? I want to make something new. I got you your booze. Now let's see this new drink. Alright, 1 second. Taking the bottle and turning her back to you, Melina walks over to the corner of the attic, where she has laid out various implements of cocktail craft, as delicately as a surgeon would a set of scalpels. She busies herself, back still to you, as she mixes and pours liquid between 2 glasses. And here it is, the green iguana. It's nauseatingly green and looks cartoonishly radioactive. A thin line of white crystals lines the glass Melina is brandishing expectantly at you. Thanks. Carefully, you take a sip of the lurid drink. It's actually really good. How is it? It's delicious. The salt rim offsets the sweetness, just enough to keep the fruity tones under control. Sounding like a real sommelier there, I take it. Melina swishes the drink around in her own glass sans rim. Yeah, that's what I've read. Something wrong? Why didn't you put a rim on your glass? I can't. Salt gets demons pretty fucked up, and not all in a fun way. Huh. I thought that was just hearsay. Nope, it's real alright, and damn painful too. I once saw Zadrada try to snort a line of the kosher stuff. It knocked her flat on her fat ass for weeks. She couldn't even talk without shooting blood from both nostrils like some stupid cartoon character. She pauses for a moment, thinking to herself. Best 2 weeks of my life, actually. She downs her drink and then holds out her empty hand. Here, I'll make us some more while you move the computer over to the couch. As Melina pours another drink for the two of you at her improvised bar, you walk across the room and easily pull the table and computer over to the couch before sitting back down. Let me get that sweat off. There you go. Melina joins you a moment later, handing you a refill before flicking the computer on and inserting the game into the disc reader. The game boots up, backed by dramatic orchestral music we didn't have the budget to compose before this game. We're starting on hard difficulty, right? Like there's any other rational option. What a couple of gamers. Damn straight. Now, are we playing on campaign? Or maybe survival mode would be better. Look, it even has a versus mode. Hard pass on that one. Competition isn't worth the bridges burned, trust me on that. Survival then. That way, if you die early on, I get a turn. Like I'm gonna let that happen. Hope you're comfortable sitting there, Chief, because it's gonna be a long time before you get your turn in. Gamers, you get a gamer CG. Blessed. True to her word, Melina plays the game like the seasoned veteran she is, and she cruises through the early game like a battleship on steroids until. So I'm going to take a quick second to do the hide message so that we can get a look at the full picture. It's a waste otherwise. Goddamn quicksand! Why the developers would even consider implementing a hazard that kills your units on contact with absolutely no warning is beyond me. My turn then. Any sage advice? Yeah, get good or get off and let me try again. You do neither. And the two of you spend the next several hours in the attic, routinely swearing at the game in turn. As the night begins to wrap up, the two of you slump sideways more and more until you're resting shoulder to shoulder on the couch. So, how does Hero Commander 3 compare to the others we've played? The difficulty isn't all it's cracked up to be, and the story may as well have been written by a chimp with a typewriter for all the shits I get. Sounds like you've got something of a pattern going. What's that supposed to mean? You've done nothing but complain about the last 3 games you've gotten, starting to think you're actually not enjoying them. These last few games we've had have all ended the same way too, with you getting mad at the game and spending the next couple of days sulking, before you set your heart on a new game and we do the whole thing over again. So you're saying you don't want to play games with me anymore? That's fine. I'm perfectly capable of enjoying myself without your big, dumb face taking up my peripheral vision. Sounds like she doesn't like VTubers. It's not that. I enjoy playing games with you. It's actually quite the welcome relief from the rest of the house. I just like to include a little more variety in our time together, that's all. I suppose your taste isn't complete garbage. I guess I'd be willing to let you play on the next night. Whatever you find, it better have screens, booze, and not be public. If you can find a thing that checks all 3 boxes, I'll give it a shot. Sounds like maybe a movie trip. I like going to the movies. Deal. And whatever you pick, it better not be fucking Dance Dance Revolution. That shit's way too kinky for me. You'll have to give this some thought, unless you want the majority of your interactions with Melina to take place in a stale attic playing obscure video games. But that's my idea of a good time. Okay, let's see what we got. Next we can do either Pandemonica, Modeus, Cerberus, Zadrada, Lucifer, or Judgment. I'll take a quick drink. If anybody has anyone they particularly want to see, then just let me know. We're about an hour in, so I think we'll get through at least one date with all the girls. Okay, maybe I'll just go in order from the first up from now. Let's do Pandamonica. I have a friend who's a big Pandamonica fan. One morning, you walk into the kitchen to prepare Pandamonica's coffee, only to find that the demon in question is already up and standing by the coffee maker. I almost said coffin maker. Don't want to run into that. As the little machine sputters and spits, the bleary-eyed demon looks over at you. You can tell from her droopy gaze that she has barely registered your presence. It's painfully obvious just how much this poor sleep schedule of hers is taking its toll. Without bothering to greet you, Pandamonica returns her attention to the coffee machine. From the sound of things, she hasn't put nearly enough water in it to make a full brew. Excuse me. Good morning? Oops, sorry. Morning. Against your better judgment, you approach the sleepy demon and peer over her shoulder. The jug of coffee that she's attempting to make is not even a quarter of the way full, and the machine itself has come to an almost complete stop. I was just about to make coffee for everyone. I didn't expect you to be up so early. The demon scoffs. Early? Ha, I've been up all night. I see. You know, Pandamonica, I really think you should, if the next words out of your mouth are get some sleep, I'm going to break your fingers. You decide it was wise to hold your tongue. What kind of coffee did you put in there anyway? Pandamonica shrugs. Just some store-bought junk we had in the cabinet. Why? As you ponder the situation, you are reminded of the coffee grinder that your father sent you not too long ago. You've been waiting for the perfect moment to break it out as a surprise, and perhaps now is that moment. I'm not a big coffee drinker either, but I know for some people it's an essential way to start their day. The thought drives you to the cabinet on the other side of the kitchen. Then you keep most of your lesser used appliances. None of these demons are crazy about soda the same way I am, so not fully relatable, I suppose. It takes you but a moment of digging around past tabletop grills, blenders, and hand mixers before you retrieve the object of your quest. Pandamonica, whose attention has come away from the coffee maker, if only to see what all the ruckus is about, watches you as you set the grinder on the counter. What do you think you're doing? And just what in the devil is that? You'll see. From the pantry, you retrieve a bag of roasted coffee beans. There, you measure out and pour into the grinder before setting to work crushing them down by hand. In no time, the sweet, deep aroma of freshly ground coffee fills the kitchen. Whatever it is you're doing there, don't stop, because it smells astounding. That's a very cute face, too. Good job, Dad. Good job. Okay, 1 moment. Okay. After a moment, you finish up grinding the beans and turn your attention to the coffee maker itself. You dump the old grounds into the trash and wash the jug out in the sink. With a fresh filter installed, you empty the fruits of your labor into the machine, and, using the appropriate amount of water this time, start up a fresh brew. At first, it seems like Pandamonica is ready to gouge your eyes out for tossing her coffee, but as soon as the rich liquid begins to flow, her rage subsides. She approaches the counter and watches for a moment as the jug slowly fills with coffee. What did you do? This scent, it reminds me of... That coffee shop on the corner? Why, yes, that's it. When I was a kid, my dad would grind his own coffee. One of my fondest memories from then is how I'd get to wake up to that smell filling the house every morning. So the other day, I decided to pick up a bag of beans from that place on the corner. I know how much you like their coffee, so I thought I'd bring them to you. Unfortunately, I didn't know exactly which flavor you like, so I just got you the basic stuff. I hope you enjoy it. That was unnecessary of you to do, but I do appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that. If you'd like, we can go there together sometime, and you can show me some of your favorite flavors. I'm sure it would be nice to have those around the house. Yeah, that would be nice. Very well, I'll take you up on the offer. It's a date then. That afternoon, you and Pandamonica decide to skip dinner in favor of your date, much to the chagrin of Lucifer, who complained loudly that no one ever sticks around when it's her turn to cook dinner. Knowing better than to argue, you grab your coats and smile and nod your way out the door. Keys in hand, you ponder the distance to the coffee shop. It isn't far, so walking is certainly not out of the question. Hey, Pandamonica? We could drive there, but what do you say we walk instead? It's a bit of a brisk day for a walk, perhaps. But yes, I think that sounds good. The demon leads the way, and the two of you head down the streets in relative silence. It's a quiet day filled with only the sounds of your footsteps and the occasional passing vehicle. You arrive at the coffee shop just as the sun starts to set over the horizon, a slight orange tinge painting the sky. A tiny bell chimes to herald your entrance. You are assailed by the familiar, deep, rich smells of freshly ground coffee, and there is a hushed murmur emanating from the smattering of patrons dotted through the shop. Personally, when I go to a coffee shop, my favorite thing to get is a Danish. I always like to see what they, I think the ones they cook are a lot better than what you'll get at hotels and things. I like a cheese Danish. An old man behind the counter looks up at you. At the sight of Pandamonica, he beams. There she is, my favorite customer. Good evening, Hank. How are you? I am well, my dear, very well. What can I get you today? I'll take the usual. Coming right up. And how about yourself, sir? A coffee, please. Black. A simple fellow. I like that. You two find a seat and make yourselves at home. I'll bring your drinks over when they're ready. You and Pandamonica scan the room for a place to sit. How about over there? The demon gestures to a booth next to the roast coffee display. You nod, and Pandamonica leads the way through the maze of tightly packed tables and booths. There's another cute CG for us. If we hide the menu, then you will get a little look at some croissants. I always enjoy a nice buttered croissant myself. What an ideal morning they're having. It seems like the Helltaker just lives in a really nice place. You thank the man and sip from your coffees. After a few moments of idle chit-chat, you turn your attention toward the nearby display. So, if you had to pick, which ones out of that group there are your favorites? Pandamonica eyes the bags, reading each label in turn. Well, I must admit, I'm quite partial to the darker roasts. For me, anything with a deep, rich flavor is a win, really. But if you're looking for specifics, I quite like that dark chocolate hazelnut there. I see, so you're a fan of chocolate-flavored coffees. But of course, who doesn't like chocolate? Fair point. How about that one right there, toasted almond? Yes. I do think that would be a good choice as well. I like a good nutty flavor. The demon grins at you as she sips her drink. Her tail flicks to and fro behind her, and you notice that her horns have nearly doubled in size. I didn't know that was a thing. I need to figure out how to regrow my lost horn then. Maybe I just need to drink some nice coffee. You chuckle nervously. You are quick to bring the conversation back to the coffee display, and the two of you spend the next half hour discussing the various roasts until your own cups run dry. You ponder fetching a refill for you both, but then you notice Pandemonica acting strangely. Oh no. It seems like a good time to reactivate sweat. Though imperceptible at first, you can clearly see that the demon is wincing, much in the way one might if they heard a loud noise. But unless you have suddenly become hard of hearing, the shop around you is nearly silent. By now, everyone has gone home, leaving just yourselves and Hank, who is humming to himself as he wipes down some tables across the room. You think it's strange that such a noise would irritate the demon, but when you turn to look at her once again, her expression is weary, and she's rubbing her temples. That's a pretty good expression too. Drawing characters with glasses is pretty nice. I've been doing it a little bit more lately, and it's always cool to get that like displacement off of there. A character with glasses is invariably cute without them as well. Maybe even cute. It varies from character to character. Shall we call it a day? Pandemonica doesn't respond. Pandemonica? Oh, yes. Yes, I think that'll be good. Thank you. You gather up your things and don your jackets. On your way out the door, you grab a few bags of the coffee and pay for them at the counter. Thank you for coming. I hope to see you both again soon. You depart with several bags of various roasted coffee dangling from your arm. For the entire walk back, neither of you say a word. Pandemonica looks as miserable and exhausted as ever, which leaves you wondering if she even enjoyed herself tonight. As you arrive at the front door, the demon stops and tugs on your sleeve. Hey. I feel I must thank you again for today. What you did this morning was very kind, and this evening I got to enjoy a bit of peace and quiet, which is a rare occurrence. I hope we can do something like this again sometime, maybe. I think I really needed it, and I'm sorry for the way I acted at the end there. You start to question Pandemonica about her strange behavior, but before you can even form the words, she hurries off into the house. I think we're crisis averted for now. Though you attempt to follow, all you manage to catch is a glimpse of her disappearing into her room, and the door shutting neatly behind her. You're left wondering what you should do next. And the answer is another date with a different demon. We'll just head straight on into Mode's. Why not? She's got a cute dress in this game. I'm a fan. One morning, you're walking through the house with a tray full of pancakes to rouse everyone for breakfast. On your way, you run into Modeus in the upstairs hallway. Good morning, Taker. Good morning, Modeus. Pancakes? Yes, please. I'm starving. Help yourself. By the way, have you seen Lucifer? I believe she's still in bed. Figures. Anyhow, enjoy your breakfast. Thank you. As the demon turns to leave and you set your sights on Lucifer's bedroom, you feel a crinkle in your back pocket. The sensation reminds you of something that you've been meaning to ask. Actually, before you go, I had something I wanted to ask you. Yes? With one arm balancing the tray, you dig around in your back pocket and come up with a small envelope. You hand it to Modeus. demoness looks over it carefully. What is this? Open it. With her finger, Medea splits open the top of the envelope and pulls out 2 slips of paper. And these are vouchers for a trip to the spa. Oop, give me one moment. There's something I need to do. Won't take but just 1 second. Okay. I won a contest some time ago, and those just came in the mail the other day. A spa trip sounds lovely. Would you like to go with me then? I've got 2 vouchers here. After you say that, the demon's cheeks redden so suddenly and so vibrantly that her complexion soon resembles that of a ripe tomato. You want me to go with you? Oh my. Is that alright? No. I mean, yes. I mean, what does this spa trip entail exactly? Anything you want, really. Let's see, they've got massages, manicures, pedicures, sauna access, acupuncture. Well, I just don't know what to say. If you're uninterested in going, I completely understand. Yes. Wait, no. No, I do want to go, I do, it's so... Another cute expression. It looks a little bit like my smoky expression. Give me 1 second, I haven't shown that off yet. 1 minute. Ka-chow! Let's do the dual smoke for a little bit. At least until she's done smoking. Though uncertain, given the demon's rambling, you think that she accepted your date. Alright then, sounds good. How about we leave after breakfast? Still blushing, Modeus nods furiously. Very well, I'll see you then. As you turn to go, the demon scampers off down the stairs with the tickets in hand, while you proceed with your morning rounds. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, let's go back to normal. I don't think I read that. Give me 1 second. It says, after a short drive, you arrive in front of an extravagant building that has been stylized to look like a Japanese bathhouse. Whoop, I'm sorry, that's the current message. The previous message was, sometime later, after you've successfully delivered pancakes to everyone in the house, you and Modeus hop in the car for your afternoon at the spa. Now, to the Japanese-style bathhouse. You park the car and turn to see Modeus looking up at the building with a frown. Then, as you turn off the engine, you're privy to the sound of her drumming her fingers on her knees. You've never seen the demon look so out of sorts. You watch her fidget in her seat for a while longer before thinking it's best to say something. Modeus? Modeus doesn't reply at first. Modeus. Oh, sorry. Got a little lost in thought there. Is everything alright? Again, the demoness doesn't seem to hear you. Modeus. What's that? Sorry. Did you say something? I was just asking if you're feeling alright. Me? Oh, yes. Yes, I'm fine. Ready to head inside? Not quite yet. You seem a bit... Before you can finish your thought, you hear the car door shut and look up to see Modeus walking listlessly towards the spot. With a sigh, you get out of the car and follow the demon. Unconvinced that everything is fine, you nevertheless decide to leave that conversation for later. It doesn't seem like you're going to get a straight answer out of her just yet anyway. For now, all you do is keep an eye on her just in case. The two of you make your way inside the spa and approach the counter. Hello, we'd like to renew these vouchers. The woman behind the desk takes her vouchers and looks them over. Congratulations, Mr. Taker. So his name really is Helltaker. I didn't see that coming. Taker. Now, before redeeming these vouchers, we do offer a brief tour of our facilities if you'd like. You turn to Medeus to see if she would like some say in the matter, but the demon still seems uneasy. Maybe the tour will help her relax. A tour would be lovely, thank you. Excellent. Now, if you'll just follow me. You and Medeus trail behind the woman as she guides you down the hallways, briefly describing each facility as you pass. From acupuncture to massages and heated baths to saunas, it seems that the spa has everything you could ask for. There's so much, in fact, that by the end of it all, you're absolutely overwhelmed by the choices. So now that you've had our tour, have you decided on what you'd like to put your vouchers towards? We'd like to do the couples massage. Startled, you glance over at Medeus to see only resolute determination in her heart-shaped eyes. Yeah, couples massage is good. Right this way. Though stunned at this turn of events, in Medeus's sudden vocality, you follow the woman down the hall and into a room with 2 massage tables set side by side. There are towels on the table over there. If you both would just disrobe and lay down on the tables, the masseuse will be with you shortly. The woman disappears, and you look over at Medeus, expecting to see her nervously staring back at you. What you're met with instead is the sight of her standing stark naked before you, having undressed completely in the few short moments since the spa worker left the room. Out of modesty, you quickly avert your gaze, but not without taking note of the startling contrast between the comfortable aura emanating off Medeus now and the nervous energy she exhibited before. As you begin to disrobe as well, you hear the demoness settle onto one of the massage tables with a heavy and contented sigh. You follow suit, and shortly thereafter the masseuse arrives. After some idle small talk, the woman begins to work. With a display of dexterity and strength you once thought impossible, the masseuse descends upon the muscles of your neck and back, undoing knots you didn't even know you had before. After each satisfyingly painful release, the woman switches between you and Medeus, giving you each time to breathe. Has anyone ever told you that you run a bit warm, dear? Do I? Must be the climate I'm used to. Oh, where are you from? Hell. Ugh. I get that kind of reaction when I tell people I'm from hell too. At this, the woman chuckles nervously. You cannot tell if she is truly undeterred by the revelation, or if she thinks it's all a joke. In any case, the massage continues without much of a lull. She returns to you to work through the last few knots in your upper back. Then, much to your chagrin, the massage is over. The masseuse leaves the room so that the two of you can get dressed. As you leave, you stop by the front counter to turn in your vouchers. Medeus beats you to the car. As you slide into your seat, you look to your companion and notice that she's avoiding your gaze and has resumed drumming on her knees. Wishing you knew what it was that was putting her all out of sorts, you ponder questioning her further. Seeing the shy redness coloring Medeus' cheeks, however, causes you to rethink that decision. Instead, you start up the car and head home. Perhaps that's a conversation for another day. What a cutie! I enjoyed it. Okay, let's see what's next. We're about almost an hour and a half in. I think we've gone through about half of the girls now, but there's still plenty left to go. We'll do Cerberus next. Always popular, that Cerberus. The old triple trouble. Out of the way! A black and white blur attempts to shoot past you into the living room, only to stop halfway through the doorway. The shape resolves into 3 young women with white hair, all stuck cartoonishly within the doorframe, and madly scrambling over one another in an attempt to get free. A piece of rolled-up pancake oozing chocolate pokes out of the corner of one of their mouths. Noticing your gaze, the other two quickly position themselves in front of their third member, as best they can, shielding her from your view. Master, we were just on our way to, go outside and play, yeah. You were, after Judgment grounded you for what you did to the mailman? We were only doing what Medea suggested. She always comes up with the best games. I've warned you before about taking Medea's advice when it comes to humans. Speaking of, I received a call from the hospital. It seems the mailman's pelvis is healing quite nicely, and once we're finished paying his rehab bills, he won't be pressing any further charges. Oh, that's great, Master. Now, if you wouldn't mind helping us out. A furious voice echoes from the kitchen, cutting Cerberus off mid-sentence. What the hell happened in here? Where are my pancakes? Gulp. There's paw prints all over the counter. Irk. Where is that thrice-blasted, good-for-nothing mongrel Cerberus? Cerberus cringes at the sound and renews her attempts to free herself from her predicament. Oh crap, she's really, really angry, Master. Now would be a really good time to go out for a daily walk. Well, guess we have to. I suppose I could use a little fresh air. Yay, quickly now, go, 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 before she sees us. Aha, there you are. Cerberus's eyes go blank in immortal terror, but she manages to free herself from the doorway, slamming the door behind her. You and Cerberus make a mad dash for the bus stop and catch one in just the nick of time. Phew, that was a close one. Yeah, we thought we were done for sure. You might still be. Lucifer rarely forgives, and never forgets. You should have just stolen one of Justice's pancakes. She's usually the one who indulges your pranks. Yeah, but there's no danger in that, and therefore no fun. It's not our fault you and Lucy go halfsies when that huge stick you've got shoved up your ass. Watch it, we can still jump off this bus. That seems to sober them up. So, where are we going? I haven't really thought about it. I guess we'll find out when we get there. Ooh, we love surprises. The three of them spend the duration of the ride clustered around the window, eagerly and energetically commenting on everything they can see. After a short while, you arrive at the destination. Alright, here we are. This is a park. Sure is. It should be a safe distance away from the house. We'll wait out Lucifer's temper here. Oh my gosh, we haven't been here in days. Do you know how long that is in Cerberus years? Does Cerberus operate in dog years? I sort of thought they would be like immortal or something. Little spread. You're not certain of the exact conversion rates, but it seems safe to assume lots of zeros are involved. Come on, let's go. We want to play. As you all exit, Cerberus's bodies come tumbling head over heels from the bus, her irrepressible excitement not about to let something like patience or demeanor get in between her and the open expanse of grass surrounding you. Park, yay! Cerberus madly dashes to and from across the park, sniffing trees, uprooting plants, and chasing squirrels up trees. With some relief, you notice she still hasn't quite figured out how to climb up after them. Her collective energy never ceases to amaze me. The park is relatively empty, with no other humans in sight, a blessing where Cerberus is involved, as it means you don't have to intervene on any of her activities to save innocent civilians. In fact, she seems perfectly happy to be left to her own devices until... Master! There's a weird-smelling person over there. They've got a creepy cloak and everything. You can just make out the figure, lounging in the shade of an old birch tree some 50 yards away. They're probably just taking out their dog for a walk. Best leave them to it. Okay, but we'll keep an eye on them for you, okay? I'm not worried. Cerberus continues to frolic in the grass, but keeps one pair of her three sets of eyes, 6 eyes total, on the cloaked figure until the stranger seems to catch the hint and retreats into the recesses of the trees. Duh, another cute one. Cute, I say. Let's take a quick moment to check the full picture. There we go. 3 cute little Cerberi. As the sun reaches its zenith, standing in its full light becomes uncomfortably warm. You sit down under the obligingly shady branches of an elm, and are eventually joined by a thoroughly exhausted Cerberus. All 3 bodies curl up in a pile next to you, and the soft sounds of their snoring are almost sweet enough to give you diabetes. Your hands wander from her head to head, gently petting Cerberus's sleek white hair as she dozes. You let yourself relax, and the warm summer air slowly lulls you to sleep. I don't have any pets, but you always hear from pet owners that falling asleep with their pets is such a blissful experience. Sometimes I envy that. You awake to a slight tickling feeling on your right hip. Eyes still closed, you wonder if some small creature perhaps crawled into your pocket while you slept and is now trying to find its way out. Just a moment, I should drink some water. Squatting next to you, with their shrouded eyes laser-focused on their task, the cloaked stranger from earlier delicately works your wallet even further out of your pocket, their gloved, long-fingered hands tickling your thigh with their subtle movements. They're so wrapped up in removing your wallet, they don't even notice your strong fingers until you've wrapped them around the arm currently fishing around in your pocket. Hold up. Let's take things nice and slowly here. Maybe you buy me dinner first. Damnations. In a blur of speed, her free arm shoots across your body, pressing a knife lightly against the base of your throat. I really hate doing things this way. I'm going to take what I came for. Just relax. There's no need to make a scene here. Wait just a minute. The knife presses a little more firmly into your neck. I'm going to say this is a good time to sweat. I don't recall asking for your opinion, just your wallet. You're suddenly filled with an overwhelming desire to let this mysterious mugger just have your wallet. Slowly, careful not to antagonize the hand pressing a sharp blade into your neck, you release your fingers from the stranger's arm. As the stranger extracts your wallet, the small hand flashes out to hold their arm in a vice-like grip. You look down to see Cerberus, eyes blazing, holding the would-be mugger's knife with fury blazing in her scarlet eyes. Steadily, she forces the mugger's hand away from your neck. Her other 2 bodies crouch, ready to leap into action if needed. They say that having a pet, especially a dog, is actually somewhat of a deterrent against anyone who would break and enter into your house. So, good on you, dog owners. You have a little bit of protection against this sort of thing. It seems like we have another music track going here. I'm almost tempted to leave it here so we can listen to a little bit more of it. But I'm sure it'll go on for a little bit longer. Mr. Stranger, I'm afraid you just messed with the wrong guy. See, Mr. Taker, he's nice enough, but us, we really don't like people waltzing in and taking what isn't theirs. Especially when they look as creepy as you do and smell so... Her eyes narrow, focused and intent on the still hooded figure. The two bodies not currently holding onto the mugger stiffen and sniff the air intently. Hold on. Sniff, sniff. Wait, you're... Sniff, sniff. With a sudden howl of fury, all three of Cerberus's bodies pounce on the stranger, knocking them backwards and onto the ground. Ow, hey, stop it, ow. Get out of here, and if I even smell your ass as close as 3 blocks to my house, I'll kick you straight back to the void myself. Understand? This isn't over, mutt. Cerberus roars again, and the stranger bids a hasty retreat into the lengthening shadows of the park. You and Cerberus watch as the stranger vanishes into the darkness. Sounds like we have a little bit more of a ongoing plot here than I expected. It's not all dates and sunshine and roses. Turning to you as if nothing had just happened, Cerberus beams a sunny smile directly into your face. Good thing you remembered to apply your triple strength SPF adorable before you left the house. What a line. Can we go home soon? I'm hungry. In a moment, first though, what exactly was all that about? What was all what about? What just happened back there? Did you know that person who tried to mug me? What? Don't be crazy. This is definitely the first time we've seen her. Absolutely. 100%. Her? I couldn't tell it was a woman from voice alone. Gulp. Perhaps it's better to let sleeping dogs lie, or lying dogs sleep, as the case may be. Regardless, I'm very grateful that you protected me, Cerberus. Thank you. Of course, Master. Who would make pancakes for us if you got hurt? Good behavior deserves positive reinforcement. I think a reward of some sort is in order. Yay! Now we get outside privileges at night, right? A sudden image flashes before your eyes. The town burning to the ground while Cerberus and Zudrada, high as kites, salute flaming appliances from shattered storefronts. No. But I will stop by the store on the way back home and refill our baking ingredients. We'll do some stealth baking, and then you can give Lucifer some almond cookies as a peace offering deal, right? Deal. Cerberus is odd and exhausting, but her happiness is delightfully infectious. Maybe I should take them out more often. Cute. Quick drink of water. And let's see who's next. We've got Zudrada next. Zudrada is a divisive character. Some people say that she's the only, demon that they don't care for. But I'm quite fond of her. She's a chain smoker. I guess that turns a lot of people off. I've had some people who smoke in my life. I don't personally smoke. It's one of those things that I don't condone doing, but it's really cool looking, so it ends up on my character designs regardless. Let me go back and read that line. Zudrada stands idly in the living room, smoking a cigarette from her seemingly never-ending supply. Lazily, she exhales a great cloud of smoke, letting it disperse before acknowledging your presence. Hey there, Taker. How's it hanging? Well enough. Would you mind explaining why you haven't taken out the garbage yet? Because I don't want to. Who do you think you're talking to? Currently, a spoiled child. Me, a child? I'm not the one that sits around playing video games all day, or shits on the neighbor's lawn when they won't let me play with their cat. But you are the one who consistently refuses to do the most basic of chores. If you want to ride someone's ass that badly, go talk to Medeus. I'm sure she'd be down for it. This is non-negotiable, unless you're willing to sacrifice your pancake privileges. Hey, shit taker, I've got a better idea. How about instead of making me take out the trash, you just take me out instead? You know, writing trash talk for trash talking characters is one of my favorite pleasures. If you ever do any writing yourself, just recreationally, I highly recommend you add just an antagonistic character who makes jokes at everyone else's expense. Definitely one of the most fun types of characters to write for. Unless you're misreading the situation, Zadrada actually wants to go on a date. Nothing good can possibly come out of this. Yeah, sure. What's the worst that could happen? Nice. I get to pick the date site, right? Absolutely not. Now, if you don't mind, I've got your job to do. So, Taker, where are we headed? We could hit up the local smokers bar, up for a little smoke and choke. Can't. Last time we went there, you were thrown out for playing knifey finger with the regulars. And I fucking beat the house record. You do know the object of that game is to avoid cutting yourself, right? Yeah, if you play by your pussy mortal rules. I wasn't up for blue balling myself just to win a game. That's more Malinka shit. You worry me. Despite her provocative attitude, Zadrada's company isn't entirely unpleasant. As you walk down the street, your conversation is anything but banal. Zadrada seems to delight in taking life itself down a peg. Anything crossing her path she can't roast verbally, you have to step in to prevent her from roasting literally. But I like roasting things literally. That's sort of my thing. Finally, you arrive at your destination. Well, here we are. Really, but this looks like a greenhouse? A fucking greenhouse? You were the person who was so eager to neglect her job. Now you get to help me with mine. Lucifer has been complaining about the decor in the house and asked me to pick out something colorful to brighten up the place. But does it have to be plants? If you give me some time, I could get you a nice goat. Properly arranged, those little bastards can really color a place up. You really don't want to know what she's talking about. We're sticking with plants for now, preferably something easy to take care of, like an arbor vitae or a Hedera helix. Check out Mr. Big Word Botany Nerd over here. You ever gonna learn how to show me a good time? If being here is that insufferable, then help me find a suitable plant. I promise we'll leave as soon as we have what we came for. Fine, but after this, you and me are hitting the town proper, you hear? Bored, Zadrada wanders off between the rows of plants, aggressively belching clouds of smog in the faces of innocent shoppers that stray too close to her. You content yourself with examining the ferns until... Hey, Taker, you gotta check this shit out. Turning, you see Zadrada aggressively brandishing a small cactus at you. Huh? What's the matter? You didn't tell me you had plants like this in the mortal world. It's just a cactus. You don't have them in hell? Nah, the ones we have in hell are fucking massive and cover it in hollow needles that stab your body and suck out your... I think I get the picture, but what's with the enthusiasm? I didn't have you pinned as a botanist. As if. You're telling me you don't see the bedroom applications of this little sucker? To be honest, you're kind of glad you'd never considered it, and you certainly can't wait to never consider it again as soon as possible. Well, if you're interested in taking care of it, and promise not to bring it anywhere near the bed, I suppose you can have it. She wrinkles up her nose in disgust. Me? Take care of it? Hard pass on that front. Better put it back then. The demon girl once more retreats into the depths of the store, muttering obscenities and curses under her breath. You return to browsing and eventually call over an attendant to press for questions. The dull-eyed assistant slouches up to you. It's a special demon. Interesting. Judging from the look on her face, she's even less happy about being here than Zedrada. A small tag pinned to her lapel has Abby written on it in smudged ink. Yeah? Can I help you or something? I'm looking for something hardy, a plant that can survive multiple attempts when it's live, preferably fire and dog-proof, and if it can survive being watered with cheap vodka, that's also a plus. I've never heard of such specifications for a plant before, but I guess when you're living in this kind of house, that's just what you do. The assistant scowls, considering your question. Her answer comes slowly, almost reluctantly. I don't know, man. I just started this job, and I don't have the patience to learn all this stuff. But I know one of my roommates keeps a golden pothos that just refuses to die. I've seen her chuck that bad boy out of a third-story window, and it didn't seem particularly bothered. Sounds like the level of chaos in our house lives is quite similar. Abby casts a sidelong glance towards the far end of the greenhouse, where Zedrada can barely be seen behind a towering stack of potted plants. The few flowers visible from the bottom containers appear to be begging for the sweet release of death, as Zedrada balances another armful of pots on the precarious stack. Abby looks away before the inevitable crash and nods in sullen agreement. More than you'd think. You try to maintain eye contact with Abby, despite the general bedlam going on behind her. I think a pothos should do fine. Would you mind showing me where you keep them? I have a feeling the sooner we get out of here, the better off everyone will be. Before she can answer, the automatic sprinklers lining the roof of the greenhouse kick in, spraying you and Abby with icy water. The billowing black smoke of burned vegetation spews forth from one of the fur aisles as orange-red flames lick over one of the fur display tables. From out of nowhere, Zedrada appears beside you, tugging at your arm. Man, such a shame about this place. It had such nicer vines, but we should probably leave for safety. You and I are going to have a talk about this later. The two of you manage to make it out of the greenhouse before it goes up in smoke. Briefly, you wonder how you could have ever expected a different outcome. Well, now that's done and over with, you still up for going out on the town? I suppose so. What's it to be? Why, Taker, I'm so glad you asked. What follows is a series of entirely unique, yet equally horrifying social indiscretions. By day's end, you have broken both your records of most bars visited in one day, and most bars forcefully evicted from in the same day. Clutching each other for balance, the two of you stumble back to the house at an ungodly hour. This late at night, there's only one member of the house reliably awake. Melina sits in a darkened living room, heavy lidded eyes lit only by the blue light emanating from the television she's glued herself to. You know, Malinka, you really shouldn't be up this late. All this blue light, it'll make your tits go flat. Melina sighs in exasperation and pauses her game, turning to face her sister. Taking a swig from the paper-wrapped bottle beside her, she steadies herself. You got something to say, Zedrada? Say it before you pass out in a puddle of your own sick. Hey, Malinka, check out this shit I picked up for you in town. From seemingly nowhere, Zedrada produces the small cactus from earlier and lobs it underarm to Melina, who barely manages to catch it in time. Careful, the little bastard's almost as prickly as you are. I figured You'd be a perfect match for each other, seeing as the rest of us are out living large and taking charge while you're sitting here dry as a desert. Go back to hell and leave me in peace. Melina chucks the cactus into the empty trash bin, where the pot shatters, sending stray clods of dirt and shards of ceramic flying. Hey, what the fuck? I lifted that thing for you. So, cry me a river. I don't recall asking for something to take care of. Wasn't that your job once upon a time? Zedrada grimaces and turns away, kicking open the back door as she returns to the abandoned RV you park in your backyard. You can hear her clicking her fingers as she goes, attempting to conjure a light for a new cigarette. You hope she doesn't set fire to the recreational vehicle, but you're too unsteady to really do anything about it. You leave Melina to her games and crawl upstairs to bed. It almost sounded like they were hinting at something, maybe with Zedrada's past. Maybe a little bit of unofficial lore they intend to add into this game. Could be interesting. That Zedrada sure is a troublemaker. Well, we've got about 2 demons left, and I've got about an hour more to stream. So I'd say that makes a good 30 minutes a demon. I've got high expectations for what they've done with Lucifer. She's a lot of people's favorite demon. She's sort of the poster child for the game. And I even have a Nindoroid of her own order. I'm very much looking forward to receiving it in December, perhaps. Oh wait, I've got to spend time with the other girls first. Which means... Judgment. I like Judgment too, of course. Who doesn't? One day, as you're hanging out around the house, you come to the realization that you've seen very little of Judgment since you moved in. No sooner does this thought occur to you, however, than you happen to come upon the demon in the living room. She's sitting by the window, and with her back turned to you, it's clear she doesn't notice you right away. It's interesting because if you look at Judgment here, she seems to be the only character that, in this first chapter at least, has not been modeled with a special costume. However, she does have unique sprites that were not in the original game. So we can appreciate that all the same. Thinking that there must be something on the windowsill that has captured her attention, you decide to creep up closer to get a better look at whatever it is that has her so enthralled. Then, as you draw near, you catch a glimpse of the object of her admiration, a tiny caterpillar. You step even closer and are surprised to find that Judgment is trying to corral the creature into the palm of her gauntlet. Sadly, the insect, seemingly put off by the feel of the metal, resists her endeavors. Judgment is kind of a bit of a skill check in the game. She ends up being a stopping point for several people, or at least a long point. It's not really undoably hard, but most people will take a couple of tries, at least. Exam Taker kicks that up a notch. I won't spoil it, but there's another very active segment that takes a lot of work. Sadly, the insect, seemingly put off by the feel of the metal, resists her endeavors. You wonder for a moment why Judgment doesn't simply scoop the thing up, but then it occurs to you that she's fearful she might hurt it if she were to do so. Only then do you decide to alert the demon to your presence. Ahem. Eve. At once, the demon leaps to her feet and spins to face you. Blushing profusely, she wears the expression of someone who was caught with her hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. Mortal! You startled me. Sorry about that. I just wanted to see what you were doing over here. Oh, I have discovered an intruder. An intruder? You mean the caterpillar? Indeed, we must dispose of it swiftly. Huh, I suppose so. Here, let me take care of it. Judgment steps aside and you approach the windowsill. As you bend down to scoop the caterpillar up into your hand, you hear a small gasp at your back. Peering over your shoulder, you see Judgment staring intently back at you. Well, what are you waiting for, mortal? Dispose of the trespasser. With a nod, you scoop the creature up into your hand and hold it aloft. I think I'm just going to put this little fella out into the garden. A look of relief flashes over Judgment's expression. Oh? I mean, do you think that wise, fool? Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. You turn and make your way for the back door. Judgment follows you all the way up until you venture out into the garden. As you deposit the caterpillar out onto a bush, you look up to see the demon watching you from the window. Something about the look on her face strikes you as odd. Perhaps it is that you've never seen the demon look quite so vulnerable before. Before you can fully comprehend the matter, however, your eyes meet and her expression melts away before your eyes. You make your way inside only to find yourself accosted at once by Judgment. How could you just allow that creature to escape, mortal? It was probably lost in the first place. Caterpillars don't typically like the indoors all too much. Sorry, a little drink of water. I'm going to be doing a lot of yelling in this storyline, so I think I'm going to need a lot of water. Very well. What if it had done you harm then? What, that little guy? Nah, caterpillars are harmless. They don't really become a nuisance until they turn into butterflies and get their wings. Wings? Yeah, once those guys start flying around, they can be a bit of a nuisance, chewing holes in your clothes and drapes and such. Or maybe I'm thinking of moths. What is the meaning of this, Taker? What more can you tell me of these creatures? Well, you see. Come to think of it, I don't actually know all that much about butterflies. They could very well be dangerous for all I know. Aha, how about this? There's a butterfly conservatory that just opened up nearby. What do you say we go there and we can both learn a little bit more about these enemies of ours? Judgment's cheeks redden at your suggestion. She looks shyly to the side, and you can see her seriously contemplating your offer. Yes, mortal, I think this would be satisfactory. When the afternoon rolls around, you decide to call the conservatory in advance to see if they offer tours. Much to your delight, they do. So you book a tour and approach the demon regarding your date at the conservatory. Thinking it might be a nice surprise, you decide to keep the tour a secret, for now. Ready to go? Fool, I was born ready! Without further ado, you load up into the car and head down to the park. There, you are greeted by the sight of the conservatory looming over the grassy knolls. As you approach the giant glassy building, you are met by a young man at the door. From the logo on his polo shirt, you can see that he is one of the conservatory's tour guides. Hello, you must be my late afternoon tour. That's us. Tour? What is this man talking about, Taker? I went ahead and called in advance to book a tour for us. Since they know more about butterflies than we do, I thought going on a tour would be the best way for us both to learn. Excuse me. At this, color rushes into Judgment's face. Oh. Yes, that sounds wonderful, actually. Thank you. The sudden sincerity in Judgment's voice takes you off guard. Before you can process what you just heard, the tour guide claps his hands together, drawing your attention. Excellent. Now, let's head inside, shall we? With the young man leading the way, you and Judgment make your way into the conservatory. First, you stop inside of a large welcome room. I said that like it was an adjective. A large welcome room. But perhaps it's also a welcome sight. Before we get started, I'm going to have to ask you to remove your gloves. I'm afraid we don't allow weapons or weapon-like objects inside the conservatory. We offer lockers here for temporary storage, so I can assure you that they will be well looked after. At first, you fear the judgment will envelop the poor man in her chains and throttle him until he relents. Hey, Kay. Okay, let's detonate. This is what I might look like if someone decided to throttle me with chains. Likes it. Hope you enjoyed that detonation. Okay, let's go back to normal. Hope you're having a good night today. Instead, Judgment nods and removes her gauntlets. She hands them off to a front desk worker and nearly buckles under the weight. Thank you. Yes, it's funny because ever since I realized you could program expressions into live 2D models, or, animations, I knew that one thing I wanted to do was make that kind of flabbergasted explosion face. So I'm glad I finally got it. I'd really like to put a sound with it in the future too, along with maybe a little bit more of an explosion effect. So sometime in the future I'll try to work on that. With that matter taken care of, the tour guide leads you into the spacious conservatory room at large, where the butterflies are free to linger about all over. Hey, remind me, do you prefer Mercury or Mimic? I always forget. It was Mercury, right? Anyways, yeah, thank you. This is my first stream with the new Live 2D. I get you. Well, I hope you're having a good one too. We are about 2 hours into the stream, and as such, I've done all of the first dates except for Judgments I'm doing now. And I'm also doing probably Lucifer's after that. And again, thank you. With that matter taken care of, the tour guide leads you over into the spacious conservatory room at large, where the butterflies are free to linger about all over. As you pass through the great glass double doors, you wonder about the sudden appearance of this soft-spoken side of Judgment that you've never seen before. Man, it seems weird. It feels weird to see Judgment without her claws. It's almost like you've changed the character somehow. Though peculiar and vastly different from the first impression you got from her down in hell, you find yourself excited at the opportunity to learn more about this more gentle facet of her personality. You smile as you watch the demoness bend down to examine a caterpillar on a leaf. Tell me, boy, how long does it take for these creatures to become airborne? With a sigh, you realize that, for whatever reason, her more gentle side is buried deep. You are pleased to see that the tour guide seems unfazed by the demon's sudden outburst. Well, the typical metamorphosis cycle occurs over the course of 30 days. Some species vary from that number by a couple days or so, but generally speaking, it takes about a month for a caterpillar to become a butterfly. A month? That does not give us much time to prepare, mortal. What do they eat, usually? That's a good question, actually. For the most part, a caterpillar's diet consists almost entirely of plant. What circle did I rule over? Well, it's a little bit interesting. As one of the former dukes, I didn't actually have a circle that I ruled over, but I did have a legion of demons. And those are actually my Amiliars here. They used to have a much more threatening appearance, but they adopted this form so that they could come out of hell with me, and without freaking people out. So that's how they became the little guys you see today. All the other dukes have their own legions too, and those that haven't left hell still rule over them. Perhaps we'll see them someday. After they undergo metamorphosis, however, their food choice changes depending on their species. Most butterflies eat plant nectar, but others may choose to feed on things like tree sap, fruit, or even decaying animal matting. So they are meat eaters. Some of them are, yes, but most butterflies have quite the sweet tooth. If you wanted to feed them yourself, you could put out a plate of chopped fruit, or even just a simple solution of sugar and water is enough to get their attention. Oh, you'd like a sketch? Sure, just tell me what you'd like, and I'll do it off stream, maybe a lunch doodle, perhaps, tomorrow. I would be happy to. Would you like to feed one? Duke of Hell K. Okay, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'll work on that. Let me try to do it during lunch tomorrow. Yes, please. At this, the young man reaches for a squeeze bottle that he keeps on his belt. He then takes Judgment's hand, dabs some of the liquid into her palm, and prompts her to hold her arm aloft. Oh, by the way, if you have any special details you'd like on that Duke of Hell costume, be sure to let me know. I've actually got a reference picture of what I look like in my Duke outfit. If you're ever interested, you can find it on my card in my reference sheet. You can have something similar to that, or you can request something else if you like. I'm sure whatever I come up with you will be prettier than what I came up with for myself. In no time, a butterfly lands right onto the demon's hand and begins to lap at the sugary substance with its narrow tongue. Let's see, blue and dress like. I can do it. It tickles. It does a little, doesn't it? Would you like to try too, sir? Oh, my mind is always wondering about something. I would. Cute. The man pours some of the sugar water into your palm as well, and soon enough you too have attracted the attention of a couple hungry butterflies. As Judgment stares intently at the creatures fluttering about her palm, you find that your attention is on her instead. It's hard to believe that this is the same demon who once tried to trap you for an eternity of torment in hell. If you put a little on the tip of your finger and draw a line down the bridge of your nose, you might even get one to land there. As I understand, doing that makes for a great photo opportunity. Well, it's a lucky thing that I brought my camera. Like this? Before the tour guide can answer, a butterfly lands right on her face, startling the demon. Oh! The three of you share in a round of laughter before carrying on with the tour. Before you are quite ready for it to end, the tour concludes, and you and Judgment return to the waiting area to receive her gloves. Just before you leave the conservatory area, you hear a tiny crunch, followed by a gasp of anguish. You turn around at once to see Judgment kneeling on the ground. Upon closer inspection, you notice a tiny, mangled caterpillar body laying on the path. A few tears fall into the concrete next to it, and you're privy to the unmistakable sound of sniffling. Oh man, I'm actually bad at sad parts in visual novels. I hope I might start tearing up a little bit. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it doesn't take much for me. Oh no. Hey, Judgment. Before you can say anything else, Judgment stands. In spite of the tears in her eyes, her jaw is set. Whatever it was you saw in her expression earlier is gone. Now you can only see the High Prosecutor of Hell standing before you. Foolish creature. Let that be a warning to all of your kind who think it wise to cross me, for I am Judgment, the High Prosecutor of Hell. At this, Judgment brushes past you on her way to retrieve her belongings. Sadly, all you can do is watch as the demon dons her gauntlets and sets her sight on the door. You follow, and soon enough the two of you are in the car with your sights set on home. After a silent and somber drive, you arrive at your front door. Judgment is quick to get out of the car. Thank you for today, mortal. It was enjoyable. Though her eyes are still red from tears, you decide to say nothing of the caterpillar. I'm glad you had a good time, Judgment. Perhaps we can do it again sometime. Perhaps. And with that, the demon turns and hurries into the house. You follow, but catch no sign of her anywhere. Only the sound of a slamming door meets your ears. For the rest of the day, Judgment's door remains closed, with no sight of the demon within. Each character in this game does have several dates, I believe. I don't think they're all in the game just yet. But before you can do them in your own order, you'll have to get through each one first, and then I think maybe it opens up for another set. We should be able to do Lucifer now, and that may be the last one I have time for, but we'll see. I'm going to do a quick save real quick as well. And take a quick drink of water. I've quite enjoyed the game so far. It's a very different tone than the original game. It's kind of a little romantic, a little feelsy in a way that the original wasn't. It's got a little bit of the same comedy. Obviously no puzzles, but if you're into this kind of romance visual novel style, I would recommend checking it out. Though ever industrious, Lucifer is looking slightly more haggard than normal. Is something the matter? Nothing I can't handle. Just a little upset in Hell's dimensional border. Happens all the time. So, Casanova, how'd it go? Is the sin orgy proceeding according to schedule? Well, I took Judgment out to a butterfly conservatory. Well, it's a start. I don't suppose you have one more date left in you. I could use a break. Sounds good. Where would you like to go? By the way, as always, I'd be curious to hear what everyone else's favorite Helltaker girls are. I actually started with Azazel this time because she's my favorite. But I've worked my way through almost all of them now. If Lucifer is your favorite, then we're having a special treat right now. I haven't been able to stretch my legs all day. A walk around the neighborhood would be wonderful. Together, the two of you exit the house into the warm night air. Fireflies newly molted slowly rise from the grass as you walk by. Their mellow lights illuminate the mostly dark street in inconsistent bursts. Beautiful little creatures, aren't they? Quite, although you ought to know better than to judge a book by its cover. Even as larvae, they're highly predatory, and feast fairly indiscriminately upon other insects. Maybe we should have just gone to her for insect knowledge. Beelzebub was your favorite. You know, I really like Beelzebub. Her poses especially. I love that pose where she puts one hand on her chest and puts the other hand up. It's very fancy. I enjoy a good, fancy, princely girl. Let's see. You know quite a lot about insects for someone who spends most of the day running hell. Lucifer shrugs and sniffs haughtily. Huh. A girl can take a passing interest in creatures far beneath her. After all, I took an interest in you, didn't I? That one stung a little bit. I assume your day's been busy then. It always is. Running hell is a lot harder than raising it. There's a difference? Quite. Paperwork needs to be filed, damnations allocated, and the skeletons go on strike if they don't get their milk rations. Milk rations? That's goofy. Seems like there's a lot of jokes about skeletons wanting calcium. Maybe it's the same way that we humans crave red meat. Who knows? So, why do you do it? They help carry paperwork, Plus, if someone comes into hell unannounced, they are trained to arrange themselves into devious little puzzles that... Not that. Your whole Queen of Hell job seems like kind of a thankless task for the amount of time you spend doing it. The ivory horned demon breaks stride, pondering your question as she stares up at the stars. The Lord of Hell is a position that no demon wants, yet, conversely, all covet. To take the weight, the title upon oneself is no small task, and matched in unpleasantness only by the problems that arise when one is forced to relinquish it. Forced? How so? The throne is never given, only taken. Since time immemorial, the entity seated on the throne has balanced atop the endless writhing hordes of demonkind, each determined to usurp power for themselves. Those at the top have no further to climb, and thus must look down constantly in fear of being thrown from their lofty position. Ever heard of democratic elections? Lucifer chuckles softly, the dark notes of joy spilling out of her mouth and into the summer air. Believe it or not, things are much better now than they were before I took power. You know, one thing I'd like to mention is the way they've drawn this slightly from below chin. Something I need to get a hang of. It's a pretty good pose that doesn't come naturally to you. You kind of have to look at a reference to get it down just right. It's about making the top of the head disappear and the bottom of the chin appear. I implemented bureaucracy, a proper 5-day work week, and break rooms for the demons and tortured souls to use in between damnations. And the beefcake skeleton guards? Merely an aesthetic choice. Understandable. The two of you continue on your stroll in amicable silence, but it isn't long before another stray thought breaks the quiet. Has someone else been taking Cerberus out on walks? Oop, I got that wrong. That was a Taker line, my bad. Not to my knowledge, and I pride myself on knowing just about everything going on in our house. I took her to the park earlier. She went absolutely ballistic on somebody who was trying to rob me. Cerberus does have a nose for sin. That girl can sniff out a tainted soul half a mile away. That's certainly true. I've seen her go after the weirdos that hang out around Eero's underwear emporium. Eero's underwear emporium. Now that's quite a setting to bring out of nowhere. Eero's what now? Actually, forget I asked. I'll just assume that Modeus was involved somehow. As I was saying, I've seen her go after shady types before, but something about this time was different. She seemed to recognize whomever it was she attacked. Lucifer freezes in place, her red eyes suddenly glowing a luminous crimson in the dimly lit street. Very slowly, she turns her head away from you, and with an obvious effort, lowers her shoulders into a more relaxed pose. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. You, on the other hand, can't say the same. Well, the house is coming up. Can I tempt you with a second go around the block? I think I'll pass, though this walk was quite enjoyable, especially after such a hectic day. In addition, thank you for the conversation. It was certainly informative, especially... Lucifer is cut short by the unmistakable sound of shattering glass, followed by raised yet indistinct voices emanating from the house. And just when things seemed like they were winding down, too. With a crash, a chair from the dining room is pitched through one of the windows on the front of the house. Through the newly formed opening, the din of voices can be heard more clearly. Insolent whelp! Have you no respect for the rules of the house? Not when you're the only one enforcing them. Nah. Yeah, sicker, girls, sicker. Lucifer's shoulders sagged slightly, her eyes downcast. You don't have to be the one to sort this out. It is my house, after all. Yes, but they are my responsibility. I ought to be the one to bring them to heel. True, but I'd like to put a stop to this before they damage the table. Well, since it seems you now have a grudge to settle, I suppose I could allow you to assist me with my affairs, but only this once. Do you understand? I do. The two of you marched back into the house, ready to clean shop. Well, this night certainly took a turn towards the unforeseen, but perhaps Lucifer is starting to let you see a bit more into her personal life. You'll have to see what comes of this in the coming days. The next morning, you are awakened from your slumber by an incessant scratching at the door. Grabbing some clothes from the nearby chair, you head towards the door. It's taking its sweet time loading whatever it's supposed to be happening next. Upon opening your door, you are almost bowled over as all three bodies of Cerberus burst through the frame, like a fluffy white whirlwind. They run around your room, pulling books from shelves, clothes from your hamper, and making faces at your wardrobe. Beyond the doorway stands Pandemonica, the coffee reserves in her mug, approaching the danger zone. Ah, good. You're awake. Hope you haven't forgotten about my morning brew. Your mind races as you try to recall. Right, triple macchiato with whipped cream, sprinkled with the tears of virgins. Pandemonica shrugs, uncharacteristically apathetic. White chocolate sauce. Today is a splurge day, I think. You look around at what was once, before Cerberus at least, a well-cleaned room. I don't suppose you've seen Lucifer around, have you? The demon shakes her head. She's a little overloaded with work right now, so I wouldn't expect her to be around much over these next few days. With all the subtlety of an avalanche, Cerberus butts into the conversation. She left a message for you, though. She said to keep up the good work. Then she made a scary face. She pulled back her lips and showed us all her teeth. So, she smiled. They aren't exaggerating, this time at least. It did look a little more genuine than usual. Between the two of you, you manage to corral Cerberus out of your room. She disappears down the hall, talking to herself in hushed tones. You hurry downstairs, Lucifer's message weighing slightly on your mind. Keep up the good work. I wonder what she means. Back to the character slate. Alright, I think I've got about 30 minutes left, so I could probably do one more. I think I will go ahead and do Azazel's second one. Just to see what the second dates are like. And because I love Azazel. Let's do it. After your debacle at the museum, Azazel sequesters herself to her room for days on end. Just to explain, in case you walked in late, the one with Azazel basically has the two of you go to a museum so she can study more about human history. And while you're there, she gets into trouble for pointing out that one of the paintings is a forgery. So one of the curator chases her out. But she seemed to have a pretty good time anyways, and she is happy to hear that you have her back. And if it weren't for communal mead times, you wouldn't see her at all. Although she seems relatively composed during breakfast and dinner, her solitude at all other times of the day, while not entirely abnormal, concerns you. The museum was the perfect place for her to gather up a lot of information for her thesis, in a relatively short amount of time, after all. But now that she's been banned, you worry that she isn't taking things all too well. So one day, you decide to check in with a curious angel. You knock at her door, unsure of what to expect. Come in. But Azazel sounds just as chipper as ever. Hey, it's just me. Huzzah, Mr. Taker! You came at the perfect time. I've just finished sorting through and organizing all of my notes from the museum. You glance to the side and see 7 neat piles of notes stacked precariously atop Azazel's desk. So that's what you've been doing here all this time. Yep. Thanks to our trip to the museum, I think I'll be able to shorten the time it'll take me to finish my thesis by about a decade. A decade? That's a lot. Aren't you upset that we can't go back? A little. But that's okay. I'm just happy I was able to get what information I got. Thanks to you, I'll be able to finish my thesis 0.00001% quicker. I'm not going to do the math on that one, but I think that would make it something like, what, over 10,000 years that she's planning to work on this thing? I don't know. That's certainly good to hear. So, what do you say we take a bit of a break to celebrate? That depends. What kind of break did you have in mind? Well, there's an ice cream cart in the park that I hear just expanded their selection to 16 flavors. I was thinking we could go there and maybe sample all of them. Perhaps we can even think about it as research for your thesis. I'm sure you'll need a section on frozen treats sooner or later, right? At your suggestion, Azazel's eyes become as wide as saucers. She hurriedly jots something down in her notebook before leaping to her feet. The angel dashes for the door, grabbing you by the arm on her way out. Don't just sit there, Mr. Taker. There's research to be done. She all but drags you down the stairs. You just barely manage to snag your keys off the hook by the front door as you're shoved inside. At your back, you catch the sound of someone shouting after you. What in the... Where are you two off to in such a hurry? Ice cream! Ah. If they have a coffee flavor, you two better bring me a scoop. You turn to respond, but find that the door has already been slammed shut behind you. Oops, sorry. Pressed that a little too fast. Looking ahead, you see that Azazel is already sitting in the passenger seat, her face pressed firmly against the window. Sighing, you hop behind the wheel. Soon the engine roars to life, and you set your sights for the park. At the very moment you pull in, Azazel hops out and draws her notebook from her belt like some sort of action hero. Then you lead the way forward until you hear the ice cream cart's soft jingle calling out to you. Ah, there we are. With Azazel bouncing at your heels, you approach the man at the cart. Lev? I thought you were tired. The old man sighs and looks at you with a weary expression hidden beneath his artificially cheerful customer service mask. I wish, my friend. Fortunately, my days here are numbered. Oh? Hired my replacement not too long ago. She's an odd one for sure, but she'll do. In any case, what can I get you guys today? First 2 scoops are on me. You glance back at Azazel. The angel returns your look with one of wide-eyed anticipation. We'll take one of everything, Lev. Though the old man raises an eyebrow, he doesn't protest. Man, not even I have enough arms to eat 16 flavors of ice cream all in one serving. How would you do it? Coming right up. With that, he begins scooping out dollops of ice cream onto cones and handing it to you and Azazel. As you are watching the man dole out ice cream, you feel a weight on your back. You can't shake the feeling that you're being spied upon, but when you turn around to look, you see nothing but an empty park. It doesn't take long before your arms fill up with ice cream. Fortunately, Lev is kind enough to provide you with a solution for such a problem in the form of a cardboard tray which holds all the cones for you. True to his word, you get the first 2 scoops for free. But sadly, you have to pay for the other 14. After coughing up the cash, you and Azazel scout out a nice bench where you can sit and sample all of the flavors. As you are treating yourself to a hearty sample of mint chocolate chip, the sensation of being watched returns. This time, however, you turn to find the source, and are startled to discover a familiar, stout little man standing directly behind you. What the hell? You nearly drop your tray of ice creams as you leap from your seat. Azazel, who had been taking notes of her ice cream's viscosity, follows your gaze, and upon discovering the source of your fright, she screams as well. It's the Guardian of the Renaissance exhibit. He's come to exact his revenge. Save the ice cream. Just as it looks like Azazel is going to flee, the man interjects. Please, I mean you no harm. I only ask that you hear me out. You and Azazel exchange a hesitant glance. Alright. I came to apologize for chasing you out of the museum the other day. Wait, so you sought us out? How'd you find us? That is not important. I think it's pretty important. What is important is that you were right, miss. I was? Yes. And so, I was wrong to shout at you the way that I did. But I implore you to understand my position in this matter. The claim you made was damning. Something like that can ruin a reputation in an instant. Oh. And with the museum struggling for funding as it is, I desperately wanted to brush off your accusation as baseless, but I just couldn't bring myself to ignore it. Your claim needled into my mind to such a degree that I found myself unable to sleep at night, and perhaps that is because I, too, had my doubts regarding the validity of some of those pieces. Quite a handful of them are so rare that I wonder how I ever managed to get my hands on them. But that is neither here nor there. What I'm trying to say is that my curiosity got the better of me, and so I hired a forensic art specialist to suss out the truth of the matter. I thought that hearing it from the expert would put my anxious mind at ease. However, much to my chagrin, she confirmed right away that the piece in question was a forgery. At this, the tearful man puts his face in his hands and begins to quietly sob. What am I to do now? Unsure of what to say, you look to Azazel. The angel frowns but sits next to the man and begins to pat him on the back. Would you like some ice cream? Azazel offers the man her cone. Touched by the gesture, the curator smiles in spite of his tears and graciously accepts the frozen treat. Thank you. I wish there was more we could do. Well, if you'll permit me, there is a little more to this story. There is? Indeed. After hearing from the forensic specialist, I grew suspicious. I was certain that I had that piece inspected before approving it for the gallery. So I decided to dig out my old records, thinking I might have missed something. But when I found the certification for that piece, it wasn't a forgery when you got it, was it? Precisely. Now that is a conundrum. Do you think someone could have stolen the original? and replaced it with a fake? I have my suspicions, but no way to prove them correct. As I said before, the museum's funding is tremulous at best. I'm ashamed to admit that I dug into the last of our budget just to hire that specialist to verify the validity, or lack thereof rather, for just one piece. Just a moment, I gotta have some water. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Personally, if I have my druthers, if I can pick any flavor I can, I like there to be some vanilla in there, but I really like something with like chocolate or brownie mixed in. Really anything with brownie in it is delicious. In fact, you can even hold the ice cream and just give me a brownie. I just love brownies. Though I believe that some of the other paintings may have been stolen as well, I am at the end of my rope. Without money, I cannot prove these beliefs to be correct. And I'm afraid that if I were to call the authorities, the news would paint me as a charlatan who deals in fakes. I cannot have that happen. So, you were wondering if we would help you figure out which of your pieces were fakes. This reminds me of Animal Crossing. In that game, Crazy Red comes by and you can buy art from him. And almost all the pieces are fakes except for one. Sometimes it's pretty obvious which are the fakes and sometimes it's not. There are of course guides online to make sure you don't waste your money, but I prefer to just buy whichever one looks right, and if it's not good, I'll just keep it for a decoration piece. Why not? I'm not a person who uses guides very much at all. If a game requires me to use a guide, I pretty much drop it. I don't like guides. Or I don't like using guides, really. Yes. Though you feel a certain amount of sympathy for the art curator's plight, since the responsibility of sleuthing out forgeries falls upon Azazel's shoulders, the onus is on her to accept or deny the request. As such, you look to see what the angel plans to do. From the look in Azazel's eyes, you can tell that her heart aches for the man just as much as yours does. Before she can open her mouth to accept the request, however, the curator bursts into tears. Through his sobs, you can just barely make out his pleas. I have little that I can offer in return, and I wouldn't blame you for saying no after how I've treated you thus far. But I beg of you, lend me your charity just this once, and I promise I'll repay it in kind. Taken aback by the man's sorrow, Azazel looks to you for affirmation. With a nod, you agree, silently, to help the poor curator. Mr. Curator, please don't cry. We will help you. All at once, the sobbing stops, and the man looks up to Azazel with a look of hope. Do you mean that? We do. We won't be able to come today, but we will make time to be there soon. Hearing this, the curator leaps to his feet and hurries to shake your hand. Though tears still glisten at the corners of his eyes, the radiance of his joy quickly dries them away. Any time will do, really. Just give me a call when you're on your way, and I will shut down the exhibit for you both. Will do. I wish there was something I could do in return, but the only thing in my power to offer is a first look at all the new exhibits before they're put out on the museum floor. Typically, this is a privilege reserved for historians and researchers, but would that be something you're interested in? You glance over the curator's shoulder. Azazel's eyes are gleaming with excitement. Yeah, I think we'd like that very much. What we don't know is that right now Helltaker is enabling certain events that happen in other stories. If you know, you know. I'm glad to hear it. I look forward to your call. And with that, the curator departs. As you watch him leave, you cannot help but notice a certain spring in his step. Turning back to Azazel, still awestruck by the opportunity that has fallen neatly into your laps, you let out a sigh. It's getting late. Shouldn't we be heading home too? Can we go to the museum tomorrow? We'll see. Before leaving the park, you stop by a Lev's ice cream stand, pick up a scoop of coffee ice cream for Panda Monica. With renewed vigor, you and Azazel find yourself thrust into an all-new adventure. And as you look at the angel sitting next to you, it's difficult to imagine sharing in this particular adventure with anyone else. It was cute and cheerful. I enjoyed it. I'm probably not going to play another one right now, but I do need to click into another one so I can get to the save screen. When we come back, why don't we just start up with Panda Monica's. I'll probably try to stream this again sometime in the future and hit some more of the dates. But for now, let's save it up because we're at like 2.5 hours. I think that's a fair enough stopping point. Alright, I've got it saved. The last thing to do is a raid. I'll check quickly who's on. Give me un momento. Actually, before I jump out, why don't we take a quick look at all the pictures we've seen so far? Give me 1 second. Menu. Data save. Alright, let's see. I think there's some way to look at all the pictures so far. Alright, maybe just return to title. Let's see. Okay, so Team 133 was the other company involved with this. I would like to link their game to allow everybody to support them. So give me 1 moment. It's one of those games where you name your own price. I do think I pitched a couple of dollars that way. Definitely consider giving them your support, whether that's feedback or whether that's playing the game yourself, whether that's donating to their project, whatever you want to do. Here is the link for the game. Also, thank you. Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I can already see some things I want to work on and fix, but I'd been working on this thing for like a couple of days straight, like till 3 a.m. in the morning. And I was like, I gotta stop. I gotta take a break. So its current form is what it is. Okay, let me see who we're gonna rate. Give me 1 moment. Who would be good? Oh, you know, speaking of rigging, I see somebody who's doing some rigging right now. That looks like they'd be good to raid. So why don't we do that? Give me 1 moment, and I will set us up. I believe it's going to be the second time we've raided them. There was one time in the past. Let's see. Okay, let's see if this will work. Yep, we're good. Okay, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll be back soon. If not Thursday or Friday, at least Saturday. I've got another Fatal Frame stream planned, and I have got Sunday. We will be doing. Actually, Sunday is Fatal Frame, and then Saturday is the thing with Fleur. So definitely turn in to Fleur's channel. If you don't know where that is, just check my Twitter, and I think I added her. Yeah, thanks for showing up. I hope you had a good night, and I hope you continue to have a good night. Thanks again.